All right. Hello, guys. It is, of course, me, Ian, from Epoch Philosophy. Also, with a baby face. It's the first time I have shaven my beard completely off in over a year. And it looks like shit. It's okay. But it feels kind of nice, you know? I didn't do it for the looks, believe it or not. Actually, I'm sure you guys can. But now I'm all baby faced. And it feels nice though. Having a beard on for forever. It's sometimes you just need a little change, you know? I'm gonna grow it back out again. It looks like shit. What are you guys up to? Cosmic? Hell yeah, I'm glad you can vibe to the jazz. I think it's pretty good. Omar, Mesa. How's it going, friend? Every few months I make the same mistake. Yeah, isn't it kind of funny how that works? It's like, yeah, like it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, it's gonna look like shit, but you kind of just want to do it anyways. you're like, you're like, all right, this is gonna look horrible, but I'm doing it just to annoy my girlfriend. Yeah, my girlfriend was very nice, or my fiance rather was very nice. She I was like, I was like, I was kind of messing around. I was like, it looks horrible. I was like, but how do you like it? And she like looked at me for a second and was like, it looks okay. And I was like, yeah, it looks like shit. She's like, no, it doesn't. She was trying so hard to, trying so hard to be nice. But Demid, how's the Patreon goal coming along? It's coming along pretty good. I'm all the thanks to you guys. Like, it's definitely we have extended the life of the channel for sure, and it is such a big deal, and I thank you guys a ton for that. I again I don't put and I'm totally fine with being open about it, like sort of on a per like individual basis about what I make on Patreon. I don't have it on there like on the Patreon, and I don't have it on there, and I tell people because not to get into too much detail, but there are people like in real life that I would like for them not to know the immediate value I make, but I make just over $1,000 off Patreon now. So it's not a lot. I am very much poor. Guys, I only make $300 on average from YouTube ad revenue. So I make $1,300 a month. And actually, for where I live and what I'm doing, it's livable, but still very little. But, you know, I can't, I can't complain. I'm a small channel. I didn't expect to go full time. I didn't want to go full time this early on in my sort of YouTube ish stuff. Definitely wanted to do this while I was getting my master's, but Mike Parsons decided to completely destroy post high school education in the state of Missouri. So fun stuff, of course. Is that the Girly Time show? Girly Time show? I am not sure what that means. Oliver Claxton, congrats. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. Setting up a Linux virtual machine. Oh, all right. Nice. Okay. Um every few what was it? Sitting in your pharmacy. All right. Are you a pharmacist, Amar? My stepsister's a pharmacist. Brian Ferreira, cringe? What's cringe? I mean, a lot of things are cringe, but I don't know specifically what you're referring to. But she loves it, so it didn't work. Ah, all right. Well, then you got to grow the beard back again. Okay. So I was thinking for music. Look, your governor? Yeah, dude. So I'll be real. I'll be real, guys. If you guys know anything about the state of Missouri, my governor. Okay, Mike Parsons is arguably worse. Probably not, but he is less cringe than the other governor we had. We don't have because he was lieutenant governor. Mike Parsons was lieutenant governor, so he was serving under Eric Greitens. Eric Greitens was our governor, and he raped a woman, and he sexually assaulted, raped or sexually assaulted a woman. So that's wonderful. And then he got ousted from governor, so that's good. But then we got Mike Parsons. But Eric Greitens was way cringier. He was a Navy SEAL, and like his guys, his entire campaign messaging was like M16 or M4 shooting at the range. Like, dude, his entire, like, I think he had one campaign ad, guys, of him shooting fully auto, like a gun, and just looking at the camera and is like, vote Greitens, you know, like 2018, or it was it 2016 or 20? I think it, something like that. He's like, vote Eric Greitens. And I think that's it. It's like all he said, but he just unloaded a magazine, and that's it, and it works. That's that is something that if you live in Missouri, certain people love. A plurality enough to win. All right, so I'm going to throw this bad boy in. America. That's right, man. All right, which master courses did you want to pursue? Any recommendations for graduating bachelor in political science? Well, I graduated with a bachelor's in political science as well. So the three choices I had, so I have more than 3 choices. Okay. But my reasoning here why I'm not doing these things is a little bit specific. So I had liberal studies was one program. Liberal studies is a very broad master's program, and I could do a lot of things with that. And that was probably my number 1. And I would like to do something regarding literature and continental philosophy, but that got cut. Second one was sociology. I would have enjoyed working within the field of sociology. Third was what was the third? History. I got a degree instead. I got my bachelor's in history, and I fucking hated it. So the history department, as I know it, I could have gone into it. That didn't get cut completely. That just got, the budget's been hurting. So accepting like master students is a lot more difficult. So that didn't get cut completely, but liberal studies and sociology both got cut completely. And there was a third program I can't remember that got cut as well that I was interested in. I can't quite remember. I didn't want to do history, even though I got a bachelor's in history, because I fucking hated it. I thought it was one of the most bureaucratic majors. Consistently, my history classes sucked. I liked the content of them more than my political science classes, but the structure was so insanely rigorous that it was just stupid. It was one of those things where it was more rigorous than it should have been, and they made it artificially difficult because it's history. It's like they had to almost justify their intellectual rigor or their sort of academic standing by making it artificially hard and just throwing on work. It was fucking horrible. I hated it. I you know, honestly, like, there's some really cool professors in the history department, but as the structure, fuck UMKC's history department. It's fucking horrible. I couldn't stand it. It was unbelievably bad. History is also a lot better than political science. The academic side of political science is horrid. It's way worse than history. But there was still, like, I couldn't I couldn't do the research that I wanted to do in history. They wouldn't, like, I would have loved to do a sort of meta history and look into, like, how we can, like, oh, my camera's adjusting, how we can sort of look at history as, like, a totalizing, like, how it moves. And that would involve a lot of theory and philosophy, and that's what I wanted to do, but at least the head of the department wouldn't have liked that. I maybe could have done it, but she wouldn't have liked it at all. I don't think she liked anything that I did. I had to write an undergrad thesis, and I wrote it about about colonial America and the sort of how imperialism worked within political and British political economy, and I used it, you know, I looked at alcohol and how the creation of trade as we know it in North America was devastating, right? And that's not, like, obviously, it's like not that big of a deal, but that a lot of the ideological underpinnings wasn't of like sheer brutality from the British, but it was just through the practice of trade in the abstract, right? So, and she didn't like that. It was just a little bit too, I think, a little bit too theory heavy for her. Yeah, my other professor that I really enjoyed, he was really cool. I think he actually quite liked it, which surprised me. I'm so used to getting all of my work shit on like 24/7. That's pretty much been my entire. I made decent grades. It's my entire education experience, is professors just notoriously not liking but I wasn't a philosophy major or anything like that. And then there's another thing. We have a master's program at my school for philosophy. Problem is, continental philosophy, I still think they're ran by, I don't know if logical positivism is still like a big thing, but very much analytic heavy, and I'm scared I probably wouldn't have gotten accepted if I was honest about what I wanted to research. And I don't want to research analytical philosophy all that much. Maybe a little bit, but Benzer Opium War 2.0. Yeah, that's right. Eternalize, love your work, keep it up. Thank you. And Eternalize, I believe you're a YouTuber as well. I haven't, forgive me, I haven't checked out any of your work, but I recognize the name. I don't get to watch a lot of content. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't. I've talked to other content creators on YouTube, and it's weird. When you start creating content, you would think you would become informed about the fields around you in YouTube and who else is making content, but I'm not. It's the opposite. I'm less informed. I don't consume much of it anymore. The topics of poli-sci are cool though, and I love it, but like a lot of social science humanities majors, it's somehow an era of being dominated by. So there's different types of political science, I think. There's like political, right? Like within poli-sci, there's like political theory. Political theory is pretty cool, and there's a lot more room in political theory to do cool stuff. My department at UMKC was not very theory heavy. We had one professor who ended up retiring. He was super old, and then I think he's still an adjunct there. He was kind of big into political theory. Other than that, it was hardcore political science. So very discreet. Like when I say political science, I mean political science. That kind of political science, and that's among the worst, I think. It's fucking horrible. And a lot of the times it's like a sort of, it's very heavily ideological. Sure, of course, political theory very much can, especially like political philosophy, when you're dealing with, there's a lot of people, political scientists, who are still stuck on Locke, which is embarrassing as fuck. Like, they're still stuck on like some of the more, I want to say, Enlightenment political philosophers, and that's fucking cringe. But for the most part, political theory is much more my style. But yeah, not a big fan of political science at all. I actually don't like it at all. I took an online political theory course on moral foundations of politics. Yeah, you see, that's a more, and that's in a lot of ways political philosophy. I took a political philosophy class and loved it. And the class was taught by a guy who is not that into politics. He's a philosophy professor. And it was great. Plastic Pills and You, my brother, are pure pleasure to listen to and watch. Your videos are a beautiful new way of modern art. Thank you so much. That's incredibly kind. That's so kind. Thank you. That is the goal. I want to be able to make, philosophy videos that are very much informative, in depth, and don't insult your intelligence. School of Life. School of Life, rather than being just like really bad, it's just really overly simplistic. But like, I want to be able to make videos in depth, but also I don't want to sacrifice any artistic value or any sort of inspiration that may come from that, And that's important, right? And when you get into YouTube videos around philosophy, I did notice one of the things that the in-depth videos are notoriously dull. They're very, very dull. There's no artistic fervor to it. And I definitely wanted to do that differently. And Pills has the same philosophy for sure. Heidegger, your videos on him was my gateway. Awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. I think Heidegger is an incredibly important thinker and one that definitely, like, I feel like he's one of the more important ones to get into when you're approaching 20th century philosophy. Do I speak any other languages? I don't. No. I can understand some Spanish. When people speak in Spanish, I can sort of understand. But yeah. Oh yeah, and it is Disco Elysium music in the background. It's on cassette too. So our next video is on Disco Elysium, so how fitting, right? But I don't speak any other languages. I would love to. It takes a lot of work, and I feel like with speaking languages, you have to utilize it all the time. And we're not quite at the point in the United States where that will be common. I'm thinking 20 to 30 years. Well, probably a little bit longer than that, 50, 60 years. Spanish, I hope, is a required language to learn. But I took 3 Spanish classes in college, and then I think I took 2 in high school. So, yeah. I can understand Spanish for the most part, but can't speak it. It saved my life. Oddly enough, when you learn a language, especially in American academia, you learn to read it. Like, and that's way different. I can read Spanish, okay. I can't fucking, but that's it. It really sucks. There's not a verbal sort of, yeah. Yeah, I see Alchemy Jade me planning to major in poli-sci. No, I mean, like, if you want to major in poli-sci, do it, right? So for career avenues, there are actually decent things that you can do with that. You can do, you know, you may not be a complete wage slave. You could work for a nonprofit. You could work for local government, larger than local government, regional government, whatever. You could do those things. But more than anything, I don't think poli-sci is, like, necessarily a bad thing to major in per se. Because what you can do is sift through a lot of the shit that is politics, or the idea of politics. Like, there's nothing worse than political hobbyists, which you'll meet a lot of those in poli-sci classes. There are political hobbyists who will take those classes, and you can tell there's no real, like, foundation with anything that they do. It is, I don't even know how to wrap my head around most political science students, because it's fucking horrible. Like, it's like a lot of them take them to be you know, I think what was very common, there's a lot of very left-leaning, progressive, smart people in those programs. But what I noticed to be very common is a lot of, I want to say, just like sort of progressive market liberals is the best way to describe it. So take something maybe like Elizabeth Warren. You take Elizabeth Warren and you put that, and that was my political science department, at least as far as students go. Now the professors, besides arguably the most progressive professor there, was big on Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. And then the rest of the professors were like I think like Biden and who's the other? There was a couple other that they were big on, but anyways, they were not big Bernie fans. They were like quite. Yeah, and so I think what you look at is it's a very neoliberal like institution, political science as a whole, and it's very ideological, right? There's no room to think. Everything is according to a sort of pseudoscience of like political astrology is the best way I describe it. It's not good. Professor Dr. Sprakeluge, am I pronouncing that right? Thank you for being a member, my friend. Thank you so much. But do you think you'll continue with YouTube? Of course, of course. Yes. I was, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Someone asked me how this sort of fundraising goal went. And it's been going pretty good. It's, you know, obviously still very poor, but that's okay. It's totally okay. I'm very privileged nonetheless. But absolutely. No, I have, thankfully to you guys, I will 100% be able to continue this for the near future. If anything else happens, you know, that would be far down the line. But yeah. An undergrad in poli-sci is basically a program branded with so much ideology. Yeah. And I think that's what's, you know, being you know, and that's why, in a lot of ways, I mean, like, I realized it real fucking quick, you know, and poli-sci is that it's very, yeah, it's just ideological is the best way to describe it, right? The framework in which people approach things in politics in general, even as large lefties, is also very ideological. It's very bad. The way politics is discussed or practiced is just bad. And it doesn't matter really where you fall on that spectrum a lot of the times. The practice of direct politics sucks 90% of the time. Alchemy Jade, I want to do antitrust law. Oh, that would be awesome. In the US, though, you have your fucking work cut out for you. It's going to be so much work. That would be a lot of work. Please do a video on school life. So I think what I might do, and this is, I might do a video on the sort of, I might do a video on sort of philosophy channels on YouTube, but it's not going to be perhaps on one philosophy channel. There's a couple pretty bad ones. The other one is Academy of Ideas. It's fucking horrendous. There's a really, I noticed a lot of the popular philosophy channels on YouTube are very reactionary, incredibly reactionary. And I noticed there's like this fetish towards the classics and philosophy. There's a really right-wing, fetishized reading of Nietzsche is another one that I notice. A lot of YouTube channels will make philosophy videos on that. One of the worst ones that I saw was a guy named Richard something philosophy. It was, I made a tweet about it the other day. I will probably make a video on that topic. The sort of fetish of online philosophy, perhaps, is a way to put it. But yeah. Jose or Big Joel did a vid on School of Life. Yeah, they suck. The School of Life is just very heavily commodified. At worst, they're wrong. At best, they are just very, very, like, shallow. Like, it's I don't even, yeah, it's hardly, like, philosophy. It feels like it was made in a corporate, like, so, yeah, it feels very corporate. Oh. Any thoughts on Herbert Dreyfus? I find his Heideggerian analysis of AI more prescient than... I actually don't know much about Herbert Dreyfus, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Okay, in the classes I've been, it's either Ben Shapiro, Kitties, or whatever, Kenny's. I don't know if I... yeah, there's some of those for sure, and a lot of really pretentious centrist. Yeah, that's one or two full-on anarcho-communist. Yeah, I think that's about right. A lot of there. Granted, there's very few right-wing conservatives, but there are a few. There definitely is. You'll find some right-wingers. They're a lot quieter. They're outnumbered heavily. Their time is not gonna be many of them left, I don't think. Thank fucking God. But there's a few of those. And then yeah, there's a lot of sort of very pretentious sort of centrist types, I think, that don't really have a footing anywhere. There's like not, they really look at things as pop politics and sort of spectacle like competition. Yeah, there are also some Nietzschean philosophy channels. That's what that's where I've came across that give the same vibe as like neoliberal life coaches. And yeah, it's the most crazy, weird. They haven't. I'm convinced there's no reading of Nietzsche there, like at all. It's like they listen to Jordan Peterson talk and name drop Nietzsche because that's what Jordan Peterson does. He just name drops people to like. I forget. Like if I was okay, like I forget how smart it will make you sound if you name drop people. I didn't real like it's like I forget about it. I'm like, all you have to do is like talk about an abstract idea and then be like, actually Nietzsche wrote about this and like whatever, like the fucking genealogy of morals. And to most people, they're like, whoa, dude, wow, you fucking read that, man? It's like I forget that it's that easy, right? And it's depressing, but that's what Jordan Peterson, most of his sort of rhetorical influences is name dropping people, and is like the things he talks about regarding Nietzsche is the most stupidly fucking dumb things. Like I'm like, how the fuck did you grab that from Nietzsche? Like what the fuck is wrong with you? Like if anything, I think like sort of proto-fascist, like that. Okay, which Jordan Peterson sort of is, whether he likes it or not. He likes to say he's like this foundational liberal, but I don't know if I'm even there on that. The sort of proto-fascist readings of Nietzsche are even more coherent than Peterson's. That's not even Jordan Peterson's reading of Nietzsche isn't popular. Like it doesn't exist except for him and then a couple other the life coach Nietzscheans who've listened to Jordan Peterson lectures then decided to start a YouTube channel. Yeah, so I see Luca, I hate when right-wingers promote. So I find Nietzsche to be kind of, I really do. I think Nietzsche, it's not wrong to say Nietzsche is a sort of reactionary philosopher in a lot of ways. Kind of. Like, but that's the thing with Nietzsche, is Nietzsche isn't like, you can't approach Nietzsche from like the sort of Western labels of like, just our basic ideas of political spectrum. You can't. Like Nietzsche is just beyond that, and that's kind of the point. But nonetheless, there are absolutely, I think, valid readings of Nietzsche that are right wing. It's just a lot of right wingers. I say right wingers is sort of like still sort of on the side of liberals. They'll name drop Nietzsche, but it's clear they've never read them. Proto-fascist or like neo-fascist or weird people who sort of like to hearken to the sort of Nietzschean aesthetic, it makes a little bit more sense. But I think Nietzsche's, the best reading of Nietzsche is rather left and progressive. Pavlov, what do you think about African Native American philosophy? So I don't know much. And I don't know much. I have a book on Native American philosophy and I would love to read it, but I have not. There's no real, at least and from what I've heard, North American Native American philosophy, there's no like individuals. It's like they're more like religious stories, I guess. Nicholas V, I've been really enjoying the podcast. Thank you for them. Thank you. That's what I'm here for. I'm really glad you enjoy it. I think podcasts are a very useful tool for a lot of people. I don't really ever listen to them much, but I know and I totally understand its sheer popularity, so I'm happy I can provide. Yeah, Jordan P is more of a sophist. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, to call Nietzsche unique is an understatement. Yeah, Nietzsche is certainly unique. That dude's all over the place. He was anti-nationalist, anti-religious. I don't know how you can have a right-wing reading with that. Well, I mean, he was certainly more than that, though, you know? Nietzsche openly despised socialists, so you gotta jump through some hoops. Yeah, right. Do I think morality is objective? No. I don't. I think and it depends on what you mean objectively. Like, do we have a metaphysical view of objectivity, right? Like that's epistemically. That's also the other problem. I think that there are pretty clear objective social guidelines on morality, right? That are pretty concrete. But again, those are social. Those aren't something that are, the best way to put it, metaphysical, I suppose. So I wouldn't say morality in that regard is objective, but I think like as far as I think we can have at least like a very analytical look at morality in a social context, in a very subjective context. So, but yeah, ask Sam Harris. I would rather not ever. Yeah. But isn't that how some mainstream views of philosophy deny ancient? Well, no. I'm not talking about. I don't know anything about Egyptian philosophy. I don't. I just know that Native American philosophy. There's not a lot of. There's a lot of shared stories, rather than in the Western canon of how we look at philosophy. We associate it with the individual a lot. It's not the same. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like finding English translations of those things would be difficult. I'd have a feeling that there's a lot of context that, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of a lot of context is probably missed there. I can imagine a lot of philosophers or people into philosophy are not going to be interested in Native American languages or indigenous languages globally, as a whole. What do you think Nietzsche's politics are? I think precisely Nietzsche doesn't have politics. Like, that's definitely for sure. Like, I think, yeah, I think Nietzsche at least understood that people can't have politics either. That's also another good thing about Nietzsche. Like, and of course, I'm sure, like, I still use the language of, like, oh, what are your politics, my politics? Of course I use that language, but that language isn't direct. That's just language. It's just to lingually make sense of things, to communicate something. I don't think people have politics, but, yeah. That's a good question, Joaquin Gonzalez. What philosopher has excited you the more to dive into him? Oh boy. Okay. All right. That's gonna take a second. All right. I don't know how to fucking answer that. Okay. It's gonna take me a little bit. Okay. I think God damn, that's impossible. Like who's really interesting me right now? Okay, I think there's something here that I can't escape with Zizek, right? So I struggle with looking at the dialectic and a sort of against the dialectic in a Spinozian or Deleuzian sense. I struggle, right? Because there is difference, right? That it like the against the dialectic denies negation and the negative. But there's something about the way Zizek puts dialectics that I just can't escape it. Like, I look at it and I'm like I can't. Same with like Lacan. I find that Lacan seems to be the proper dialectician. This is another thing that I don't hear enough about, that kind of surprises me. Zizek has mentioned it before, but not very often. I feel like Lacan is a proper Hegelian in a lot of ways. Like, Zizek has said that again, but I want to say Zizek is just, as far as just constantly finding things and how the way he approaches stuff from a philosophical perspective, I just can't, like, he's probably the more, like, everything he says I find really scary spot on. Deleuze is like that too, with me. A little bit. Or a bit. I think. It's hard, man. I struggle with I struggle with the whole like against the dialectic and the dialectic. I really do, because you know it's and it also begs the question is like, should we look at the dialectic as something radically phenomenological? I think that might be a future approach, right? You know, I think it makes a lot of sense for the dialectic to not be ingrained as like an ontology, like as a core universal nature, right? I like the idea that there is one singular universal core rather than a duality or a mode of duality and a process therein. But when you look at it, and epistemologically, I don't care about epistemology rather, but like nonetheless, like there seems to be, I can see a dialectical tension everywhere in a lot of things, you know. So it's hard, and I'm curious. I'm sure there is some literature that's buried that tries to address that I would be interested in reading. I know Zizek, I think, wrote about Deleuze. I haven't read it, but what do you think about Bataille? Is that how you pronounce his name? Bataille? Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I haven't read him, actually. I don't know much about him. Everyone talks about him, but I haven't. Labor Kyle, how's it going, dude? Did you read the Jacobin piece? It was great. Yes, that's another thing, too. Zizek is just very, very relevant in the way he approaches a lot of things. And is right. I find Zizek's punditry pretty good. I don't like punditry. A big reason I don't like punditry is it's fucking stupid and wrong like 85% of the time. It doesn't matter by who. Zizek gives pretty deep, good punditry, but punditry in general tends to suck. But yeah, I typically like reading Zizek's pieces on things. Is Zizek supporter of Nietzsche? I would probably consider Zizek I mean, not really. I wouldn't imagine Zizek to be a big, you know, Nietzsche wasn't a fan of, I think he was sort of, rather, Nietzsche was not a Hegelian, for sure. Zizek at the core is Zizek is Hegel. And Althusser. Yeah, the big three was Zizek's Hegel, Lacan, and Althusser. People don't give Althusser regarding Zizek enough credit. Zizek's very Althusserian. No, Zizek likes Enlightenment values. Yeah, in a way, I think so. And Nietzsche hates them. I think that's, yeah, I think that's in some ways right. You are a Spinozian. It makes more sense that you like Deleuze than Hegel. There is no dialectic in... No, I don't think there... So reading, if I'm pronouncing this right, Zunzi recently, and his idea that human nature is evil and that good can only be created as a result of deliberate effort and socialization. The Ruist tradition is interesting. Interesting. I know virtually zero on that. I believe, yeah. Zizek will go between like X person should have been shot. He's like, sometimes he'll talk about Stalin, how Stalin got some things right, and then he's like, but then Stalin should have been shot, or he'll say shit like that. He says everyone should get shot. Yeah, he is like Guattari. I think he said Deleuze is a genius, but Guattari should have been shot. I wish Nietzsche did not lose his mental health. Yeah, I think a few more years of Nietzsche would have been probably good. Very interesting, nonetheless. Hegel is a Spinozan in some ways. Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, that's where I'm really, like, it's not... I don't like approaching things, whether it's, like, Hegelian or Spinozian or Deleuzian. I don't like doing that. It doesn't make... It's in a lot of ways, it just... It defeats the purpose of I think, healthy philosophy. I'm skeptical of people who are very antagonistic towards other philosophers too. Like when I mean antagonistic, I mean antagonistic. Like they really don't like them. Like they're like it's this. I'm against anything that's radically positivistic and its ideology. I'm not there. I'm still a firm believer that ideology is something that is rather inescapable. It's something in a Lacanian context, something that's just ingrained lingually and socially. It's not like you can avoid it, but there's a lot of people who don't even like it's not about that in certain ways. Like it's that there is I'm against, I suppose the best way is positivism in a lot of different realms. Yeah. I think Zizek's notion of the female non-all formulas of sex, is crucial as universality that is radically open and not closed to the male side. Yeah, I think that's right too. Ideology is not bad. Well, I don't look at ideology as like good or bad. I've got beef with Locke. Yeah, I mean, Locke is just an outdated thinker, you know? Certainly an outdated individual, but, I mean, again, like, I think Locke is worth reading. His second treatise of government is certainly a text that I think is pretty foundational in understanding how a lot of, like, Western European political theory evolves and sort of goes about. What is the use of studying philosophy, political science, or any of the liberal arts in university? That's a very good question. So, what I would say is that if you are not hell-bent on going into engineering, medicine, or direct sort of STEM fields, then the liberal arts will provide you a route to get a degree that'll help you get a job in a number of different fields, and you get to choose your liberal arts degree on which is going to make you less miserable. That's it. That's it. Because there's more efficient ways to learn certain subjects at university than taking those fields. But I think the goal is like take the courses that are easier and they're not going to make you miserable. As grim as that is. That's it, though. Hey, Epoch, this comment is not relevant to the current discussion totally, but have you read Michael Heinrich, Undogmatic Living Marxist? I haven't. An undogmatic living Marxist sounds great. I would love to read him then. I think a lot of Marxism is incredibly dogmatic, and it just, I don't even fucking, oh god. Don't even get me fucking started on that. Hey.
Have you checked out singularity as sublimity, thought in motion?
Hey, thank you so much, David. Good to see you again, my friend. Have you checked out, yeah, no, I haven't. Thought in motion. Let me look that up. I don't think so. Thought. Let me see. Singularity a theory channel. Oh, tiny little channel. Yeah. No, I haven't. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen him. There's truly a lot of channels that I don't get the opportunity to really delve into and look at. One of the most underrated philosophy and theory channels that I've seen is Theory and Philosophy. That's just all it's called, Theory and Philosophy, and he has a podcast with it. Very, very underrated, very, very good. I really like his stuff. I'll occasionally find the time to listen to, but he's worth listening to. I really like him. I think his name's David. I think his actual name is David. Yeah. Thoughts on where Dostoevsky and Nietzsche differ and are similar? Well, I don't know much about Dostoevsky. Can you think of an underestimated philosopher? Well, in some regards, Karl Marx. In a lot of ways, Karl Marx is underestimated. But obviously there's a cult following with him, to say the least. But I think we sometimes forget about the relevance Marx has today. Like, it can be... there is so much not relevant about Marx today that sometimes it can be easy to ignore the relevant stuff. And then, especially on the lens of philosophy, Max Weber is probably one of those other ones. I've only just now started to kind of dive into Max Weber. I mean, someone mentioned Baudrillard. Baudrillard, too, is, I think, one of those people as well, especially early, and I'm talking early Baudrillard. Early Baudrillard had a lot of good things to say. That got a little bit... that got sort of spun over via simulacra and simulation. That kind of took a lot of the really good stuff that he's done, and it sort of kind of put his other good stuff like on the back burner a little bit. But it's really hard to explain. Simone de Beauvoir is very good. Simone de Beauvoir is extremely good and more intelligent and more relevant than what people like to think. I think existentialism is something that gets shit on a little bit too much, even though in so many ways I'm not an existentialist. Kierkegaard, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I could come... I mean, maybe Mark Fisher as well, especially around cultural theory. I don't know, that's so hard to answer. Yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah, theory and philosophy, you'll definitely want to know a little bit of background knowledge. Philosophize This is cool. I've listened to many episodes of Philosophize This. Catman is Pol Pot secretly based though? Fuck you, dude. Oh. Fuck you, Catman. Now I'm off track. Yeah, Philosophize This is good, but very, very simplistic, incredibly simplistic. He's a good intro into some things, but that's about it. I don't mean that as like a total insult, because I actually do like his podcast. It's cool. Pol Pot, guys, so I had to end my I don't know if you guys know this story. Some of you guys are probably here after that happened. I don't know, about like three or 4 months ago, I essentially had to end my public Patreon because, guys, I was just getting, oh my god, guys, oh, I'm so, for you guys who didn't have to endure the stupid shit that would pop up in my Discord, my public Discord server, oh, count your blessings, oh my lord. The one thing that got me that would always come in, it was things like, what do you guys think about like Pol Pot? Like, the more I read, or like I would get like, hey guys, do you guys actually think? I've been reading more. Hey, thank you so much, David.
Thought in Motion is a professor. He explains difficult themes from Lacan.
Well, that's really cool. Then I'll go out of my way to check him out. Then thank you, I appreciate that, and thank you so much for the $15, dude. Like, it helps immensely. When it comes to yeah, it was people like, do you guys think I think like the more I think about it, Stalin's kind of base. I'm like, get this fucking shit out of my server. Or like, what do you guys think about like was Trotsky right? Or like, was Trotsky wrong? And it's like, dude, I don't even want to fucking, like, this is the most fucking internet, it was so bad. It was so bad. But it kind of, there was also another thing that I don't like. I don't really like the distant political postmodern memes, and a lot of it's like these weird like Marxist fetishized stuff. Like, I would get people, okay guys, please don't do this, and don't be offended if you're into this, please. Try not to be offended. I understand if you like this, if that's your kind of thing, it's totally okay. Like, I listen, I in many ways I'm a radical libertarian as far as social stuff goes. Like, do whatever the fuck makes you happy. Nonetheless, I'm allowed to be unhappy about some things, okay? And I would get like pictures of like memes. It's kind of fucking hilarious, I get it, but I would get like anime girls with like helmets like on T-91 tanks with like hammer and sickles, and people would share that shit all over my fucking Discord. It would be like the fucking weeb characters or like anime characters, like, or like cat girl characters with like Marxist symbolism all over it, and like they would share that shit like non-ironically, and I was just like, guys, like, okay, if that's what, if you like, if that is up your alley, I'm so happy. Like, if you can enjoy something that I don't personally enjoy, I fucking love it. That's wonderful. I envy you. Nonetheless, though, I try to keep online politics, like something that's radically online, out of like a community or a Discord server. Personally, that's me. That's me. I don't mind discussing politics. I'm actually, I discuss politics more than most philosophy people, I think, to be honest. Isn't it categorically a joke? So, but it's like beyond that. It's like that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but it's like it was shared so much that it became like I don't like look, I find those to be very low quality memes. But it was just like there was a very unfocused, unproductive way of doing shit constantly on that server. And also, you know, that's like best case stuff. Like, the worst case was like extremely toxic stuff, like and there was like fights about like the most stupid shit. Like, it was just dumb, and that's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in having a community of people who like just argue with each other rampantly on general chat. I'm just not cool with that. It's just not. And so it's on my Patreon now, and you guys are fucking awesome. At least I'm genuinely really thankful. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Smugly, you're not toxic at all. I don't think you guys understand how bad some internet communities can get. I understood even far before I did this. There's horrible communities, guys. Some of the internet communities I have came across are so, like, it is fucking unbelievable how bad it can get. Like, I'm surprised there's human beings where there is such a void, or there is such cynicism or resentment or whatever you want to call it, that their online behavior is like employed in that way. It is just sheer toxicity beyond itself. And at least this audience, you guys, and the people on our Discord are so fucking cool. It is just, dude, I'm so, thank you guys for being cool is also what I'm trying to say. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. It is, oh my god, I couldn't, you know, because like so much of what I do is an interaction with you guys. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine having to deal with like some of the shit that like political commentators communities, that's the worst thing. It's political channels, and it's channels that follow political commentators who really are just seeking out ideological affirmation. They just want to hear what they want to hear. So, yeah. Oh, Arban M. That's the first comment. I shaved it for the first time in over a year. It'll be back because because I look like a fucking 16-year-old without a beard. Yeah. Tyler M. Gaming subreddits. Oh, yeah, gaming subreddits are really bad too. Karl Marx had a huge cult following in India, China, most of Asia, most of Africa, most of, well, yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, there's something, to be fair, with Marx, it's like the correct way to look at Marx is a non-deified entity, or the sort of ideological trajectory that Marx put, it's to not worship that or overly or be overly positivistic. That's where I get into cult-like behavior, because a lot of modern Marxism today is absolutely Christ-like. It is 100, and I mean 150% a religion. Just so many people. I mean, it's almost, and in many ways, it's more powerful than a religion, too. And I'm pretty, anything that works within this sort of prototypical Christ-like logic, I'm not a fan of. And that's where I get to the cult-like behavior. Obviously, I think most Marxists are not like this. But I think most people who would consider themselves Marxist are also not people who would actually, like... They're probably what you would describe as a sort of non-sectarian Marxist. They wouldn't probably consider themselves Marxist-Leninist or Maoist or any sect. They would just call themselves Marxist, and I think that is a big thing. And that there's an openness to that doesn't exist a lot of the times with Marxism, Leninism, and anarchism. Anarchism can get, I mean, pretty dogmatic, but my experience on the internet isn't dealing with anarchists. I don't really, I haven't seen, like, I have been called the worst things for Marxist-Leninists before. I haven't been told that from anarchists, but I know that certainly exists in any realm of sort of weird, heavily ideological stuff. But I also find Marxism-Leninism radically incapable of looking at things ideologically speaking, right? Like how we deal with things in a Western context of current capitalism. There's a lot of good in Marxism-Leninism as well. I'm a fan of Lenin as a thinker, but I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. Surprise, surprise. And I have this weird thing where, like, it's like I seem to attract, like, I've been called a Trotskyist. Guys, this is the most stupid. Oh my fucking god. Trotsky is a fucking Marxist-Leninist, but I'm not a Marxist. I've been called a Trotskyist. Like, you're just a Trotskyist. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it is so fucking clear you don't contend with Marxism in any serious light if you just fucking call people a Trotskyist or you jump to any sort of conclusion based on name dropping. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sort of state of things Marx would love to see his name used by. Do you have a modular grid? Good question. We got a synth dude here. I don't, but I have a mutable instrument braids, peaks, marbles. I can't remember the mutable instrument filter. I have a clouds, mutable instrument clouds, rings. I have an AI synthesis mixer, a stereo Bafako mixer, and an output module with a mutable instrument tides function generator. Synth dude checking it. Yeah, and I also have a Behringer DeepMind, Behringer Neutron, and Crave. And that's my synth setup. I gotta do a stream sometime. Fuck it, you guys want me to do it? I've never played synthesizers on stream. Let me see if I can. I've been told so many times, like, people want... I guess I could... I don't even know if I have it hooked up so, like, OBS would hear it. Let me try. Okay, the best thing for me to play here is probably the Deep Mind, personally. So we're gonna try that. Okay. Okay, so you hear it. All right. Yeah, Blade Runner stuff. All right, let me see if I can. If you guys are interested, I could play a patch from my modular. I could try to do that. Have you guys? Is there a lot of static? I personally don't hear. I don't hear any static from on my end. I'm monitoring it, so it should be. I could probably do a patch from my thing. Ah, okay. So I have. Okay. If that's the case, sorry, I don't have my stuff to. I don't have my stuff set up on OBS well to probably. Let me turn down the heat going in on my inputs. the first time anyone's ever heard my music on stream, by the way, so you guys should all feel very, very lucky. All right, I'm gonna try. We can try to patch. Let's try to patch something together into my modular. So, for anyone who isn't familiar, so I'll try to explain this to you guys. This is okay. Like this stuff is very fascinating. I think I love synthesis or the idea of it. So, what you have in a synthesizer that I'm playing on this DeepMind, you have something called an oscillator. An oscillator is the thing that creates the sort of voltage, the sound that you get. You have something called a filter, VCF, and what that does is it kind of controls the kind of sound that you get. And so it's like you can increase the frequencies that you want to increase in the sound, and you can lower the frequencies. And then you have something usually called a VCA, which is an amplifier, so it just increases the signal or it doesn't. And that's it. That's like the three parts. And for this, you can essentially control what you can kind of patch into. So you plug the certain oscillator you want into something or the filter that you want into something. So let's do it. I play the keys a little bit. Yeah. Sounds like Brian Eno. That is a great compliment. I love Brian Eno. All right. That hurt your guys' ears. I'm sorry about that. When I turn it on, it always kind of does that. Okay. All right. We'll do. Can you guys hear me on this? You guys can fucking hear me on this, man. Okay, how does that sound? So, I have this right now. Does that sound good? Fuck yeah! I can talk to you guys. I can talk to you guys through here now. I just realized, guys, I had a microphone. I can talk to you guys with. Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, we should do I want to do more synthesizer streams. Oh, my cat's coming in to say hi. Here, I'll pick her up. I'll show you guys. It's my new cat. Her name's Ziva. Come say hi. Mwah. Come say hi. Are you my girl? You're my girl. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So I gotta go switch to my Eurorack. Okay. I gotta now output this into here. I'm gonna patch this into, I think, my let's do my clouds module. All right, you guys hear that? Okay. So I have a filter on here. I'm gonna adjust the. All right. Let's see. Grab another. I think I'm gonna try to patch this peaks into here. Let me see. Apologies, guys. Euro rack is very, very finicky, so you can run into some. So essentially, like if I don't have a concrete patch right now, so when you're experimenting with a patch, it's a very you can run into some really weird noises. So like doing a patch on the fly is actually not going to sound very good most of the time. So play Wonderwall. It's a fucking everyone at like. I'll play my Behringer Crave a little bit maybe, and I'll maybe try to throw some reverb on it or. So I'm playing something called a resonator, essentially is what it's called, and you can make these really weird, like UFO space sounds. It's really weird. back to the DeepMind now. So it's the other synthesizer that I'm using. Let's see if there's any cool patches on there real quick. So this one, there's like already like patches. Here, let me see. Like presets, which is really fucking cool. I don't have to manually make a patch. Can you not hear me with this? Or is it just really, really quiet? I'm sure it's just really, really quiet. Sorry. Okay. When I turn this off, it might be a little bit loud, so just a little heads up. All right. Okay. Bubble Boy making a note of who to ask if I ever need music for a deep existential sci-fi project. Hell yeah, thanks. I would love to help. All right. Sorry I couldn't interact as much. Catman, it's impossible for me not to hear Vangelis. I actually don't know if I know who that is. That was really cool. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully it didn't sound too you know, I don't think I'm like all that. I'm a little bit, I always get frustrated when I make music because it never sounds as good as I want it to. I think that's probably, yeah. Oh, he made me, oh, okay. Oh, fuck yeah. Sample the cat into the modular. Oh, yeah. I gotta do that. Ooh, Caleb Faraday showed up in here. I didn't see it. Faraday speaks. Hey, dudes. Hey, Caleb. How's it going, man? Okay, I should know that, being such a huge sort of synth nerd myself. I absolutely should know that, but I don't. So, my massive apologies. But I was, you know, it was funny yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or it was the day before. Me and my brother hasn't seen Blade Runner, and I'm sorry, guys. I haven't seen the original Blade Runner. It is like on top of my list to watch. There's a couple movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock. I haven't seen Citizen Kane. I haven't seen the original Blade Runner. Oh my god, it's really bad. But I really want to see them. I really like the second Blade Runner, though. Oh my god. I consider. I know. Shame me. It's totally okay. I can't play any more games with you, buddy. I know. No, actually, it's bad. I understand that. 2049 or Blade. I'm sorry. What was the year or the Blade Runner or whatever when that came out? Oh, it was there was the one with Ryan Gosling. It was so good. It was so good. Denis, I think it's actually not Denis. It's Denis Villeneuve. He's a director. He made that Blade Runner. He is among my absolute favorite filmmakers ever. He made what else did he make? He made Prisoners. That was one of the best like thrillers I've ever seen. Like it's very rare that you can make like a thriller that's like really engaging and like what the fuck. God damn, guys, I don't know if you ever saw Prisoners, but it was fucking wonderful. He made a couple he made Sicario, the original Sicario. Oh my god. The original Sicario was so good. The second one really I thought sucked. I didn't think it was that good. Also another one, Alejandro something. He made Birdman. He made Birdman, which is such a good movie if you guys have seen it. Oh, Arrival. He made Arrival as well, Catman. That's right. Arrival was brilliant. I haven't seen Enemy. I need to watch that. I hear Enemy's really good, and that was one of his more quiet releases. Alejandro, I think his last name's Rojas. I could be wrong, but he made Birdman and the Revenant, and the Revenant was wonderful. Oh yeah, Philip K. Dick. Yeah, a lot of people have told me to read Philip K. Dick. I always kind of get into it's very hard for me to read. It's fiction a lot of the times, which is totally like the exact opposite of of usually the issue. A lot of fiction is much more entertaining in a lot of ways, and I get it. But I haven't read a lot of novels. Yeah, he's kind of like Philip K. Dick is like, isn't he? He's one of like the main people in the whole cyberpunk sort of. Yeah, that's right. God damn it. Yeah, I watched a whole thing on Philip K. Dick. Oh, is it Alejandro Inarritu? I don't know where I got Rojas from. Okay, yeah, he's wonderful. To understand Marx, Baudrillard, and Marcuse for my essay. Thank you so much. Is your name, do I pronounce it Siors? Is that correct? The movie A Scanner Darkly is wild. Dude, I am always looking for new, really good movies or like ones that go under the radar. A Scanner Darkly. Oh, what kind of... I've never seen an art style like this. What is this? Interesting. Has anyone here seen True Detective Season 1? I know that might be a little basic of me. I think about really good writing and just media, and I always... Dude, I go back to... True Detective Season 1 I thought was so good. Oh, God, that's what it looks like. The animation is drawn over live action. That's what yeah. There's also, oh, Catman, your favorite show ever? Yeah, the second season, I watched like 2 episodes and I couldn't do it. I thought True Detective Season 2 sucked ass. The third one was okay. I was looking forward to like another season. The third one was quite decent, I thought. Wait, Dear Zachary? Oh, wait. 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 That's the one about, like, the dude killed his fucking son or something? Oh, God. I think that's what I've heard. That is some very rough stuff, if I might say so myself. You know what's funny, guys, is about a year ago, okay, about a year ago was the first time I watched the original Matrix, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect. Everyone says it's amazing. It was really fucking good. You know, a lot of the times, like, a lot of movies, you expect them, they're so overhyped. The first Matrix was really, really fucking sick. I really liked it, actually. It was the first time I saw it. It was, like, a little over a year ago. I haven't seen the other ones, but I watched the first one. As Lou says, yeah, Kronos the most honest of fathers. It's not wrong. Not wrong at all. There's something innate about... Yeah, fucking the consumption of children, your own children at that. Oh, all right. You watch anime? I don't. I like when I was really young, like really young, I would watch the occasional out of sync Dragon Ball Z episodes and stuff, but I don't really watch anime. I'm sure there's some good shows that I would like, but I've never, there's not been one yet to really grasp my attention too much. Attack on Titan looks really cool. For some weird reason, it looks like I've thought about like watching Attack on Titan. It looks like one of those, I don't know, there's something really like unique about it. That I've heard Berserk is incredibly good too. That's like a really old original one though, right? Oh, well, guys, I think that's about it for today. I hope you, I think I'm gonna, oh, One Punch Man, if you're into Kierkegaard, that is. Ah, gotcha. Some nice existentialism. I think I'm probably gonna head off. Yeah, probably gonna go grab something to eat. I heard that, if I'm, again, pronouncing that correctly, Sjoers, apologize, or Kattenbelt. Yeah, I heard about that, him dying recently. That's really too bad. Okay, bye. But yeah, I'm probably gonna head on out of here. I haven't eaten anything all day. I woke up at like, it's 3:30 where I am. I woke up at like 9. I fast most of the day, and then I eat a lot of food afterwards. Anyways, I think that's it for today, guys. You know, as always, I give the whole spiel. I'm only able to do do this with you guys because of you guys, especially the people over on Patreon. Seriously, big shout out to you guys. If any of you guys want to sign up for a couple bucks a month, you guys get early access to the podcast, all my videos, all that cool stuff. You guys can maybe join the Discord as well. I was kind of bragging about all of you guys earlier. Everyone in the Discord's really quite cool, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, so consider. Thank you guys though ultimately for hanging out. Appreciate you all. Yeah. Cameron, later Ian, I will see you, my friend. Labor Kyle, nice stream, buddy. See you later. I will see you guys. Bubble Boy, I will see you, my friend. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed.